Another unexpected twist in the latest trial for Lori Vallow Daybell. Just this morning, jury selection was delayed again, this time until Wednesday. The I-Team's Erica Stapleton was in the courtroom. And Erica, this is all because Lori Vallow Daybell says that she is really sick.
Yes, Tram, and the only word I can use to describe what unfolded in court this morning is dramatic. This is Lori Vallow Daybell's third trial in under 3 years. She was first convicted in Idaho for killing her children, Tylee and JJ, and her role in the death of her husband's first wife. In April, she was convicted in Arizona for conspiring to kill her former husband. And this next trial, she's accused of conspiring to kill her niece's ex-husband. Vallow Daybell is representing herself, and she's pleaded not guilty. The jury was supposed to be seated on Friday, but that got bumped to this morning, and Lori Vallow Daybell apparently wasn't feeling well again today. At one point, she was wheeled into the courtroom in an MCSO wheelchair with her hand on her head. She told the judge that she had, quote, a terrible headache, nausea, chills, and the judge wanted to proceed with jury selection as not to delay the trial further. He asked Lori Vallow Daybell if her advisory team could move forward with the jury selection, but Vallow Daybell said she has a right to represent herself and that she wants to be there. She said she felt like she was, quote, dragged out of her bed in her cell this morning and that she was sorry she was sick and she didn't plan on being sick. She got increasingly agitated with the judge, even inviting him to her jail cell to see how badly she's doing, an invitation the judge said he'd have to pass on. The possible jurors were not in the courtroom as all of this unfolded, but the judge had to call them in afterward and apologize and tell them that they would be called back again on Wednesday, when hopefully they can seat the jury and move forward with opening statements. The judge said he has never had this happen in all his years on the bench. Tram?
All right, Erica, thank you. Criminal defense attorney Hector Diaz of Diaz Law joins us now. Erica described what this morning as dramatic. I mean, you just heard her that the judge has never seen anything like this in all his years on the bench, that she felt like she was dragged out of her cell. Right. She was in a wheelchair, that she even invited Judge Boreski to go look at her cell for himself. Right. He was like, you know, I'll pass on that. What do you make of all of this?
I think the judge is concerned a couple things, right? One, he recognizes that the jury, they're back there, they're trying to do their civic duty and you know, allow them to impanel a jury. Some of these people are going to have delays, there's going to be other issues, they're not going to want to be there. The other is the possibility that what you have here is just theatrics by Lori Vallow Daybell. That really what you have, you know, there was some back and forth. I actually read a bit of the transcript of what was going on today. And I think the judge was concerned that the fact that she was sitting in a wheelchair and wanted to be in that wheelchair when the jury was brought in so that they could see her in a wheelchair, he tried to get her to move to a regular chair.
Maybe have pity.
Right, yeah. And so I think there's some concern in terms of the timing also. You know, I think the state probably put on the record today, hey, you know, we've got witnesses that are scheduled to fly in from out of state, and now, you know, you've got to juggle those issues. And so I think the court rightfully is trying to get all of this coordinated, scheduled, and let's be back on Wednesday. Now, again, if Lori is legitimately sick, if she is sick and, you know, they have these problems, then, you know, she has a right, as she indicated in court, to defend herself, to pick that jury. She indicated today on the record that her counsel, her advisory counsel, didn't feel comfortable picking the jury. Okay. So that's a little concerning in terms of that, but.
Right, but what I also find concerning is the fact that, you know, again, second delay, how this could affect the jury / maybe even trial, and the fact that, you know, let's not forget, she tried to get Judge Boreski recused from the trial.
Right. Yeah, and I think Judge Boreski came out today and said, hey, I'm going to be your judge if we're in, you know, July or August. I'm still going to be your judge. I'm not going away. I think Judge Boreski is probably also trying to make sure that the jury remains, fair, impartial, imbalanced.
So would this have an effect on, you know, delay after delay, coming in a wheelchair, being a little dramatic?
For sure. I think Judge Boreski put on the record and said, listen, I'm embarrassed. This has never happened to me. So he's trying to quell those concerns. I think he's recognizing, hey, these jurors, now I'm going to, for the second time, telling them, okay, you're going to go home, you're going to be back on Wednesday. That's very, very odd. It's not typical in a trial, right? In trying to get a jury selected. Some of these people, again, the other concern is that they're going to go home and, get on Google and say, what is this about? What's going on? And so he's advising them as well. Don't get on your computer and look things up.
Yeah, and you just hit on something. They're supposed to, not know what's happening in the news.
Right.
They can do that?
No, they can't. I mean, he's asking them. He's instructing them.
Okay.
Don't go on and research this case.
Right.
I think he did that. But there's a concern. People are going to be like, naturally, why?
Even more curious.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think, he's guarding against that and doing the best he can to make sure that doesn't raise an issue for Lori. But if she's feigning being ill, this is just not to her. This isn't to her credit. It's not to her favor in terms of the trial.
Okay. Well, we'll have to wait to see Wednesday. By the way, why not Tuesday? Is it because she's still too sick?
I think
Is that why
so.
Wednesday is, give her time to rest a little bit?
Right. I think that's probably part of it in terms of saying, hey, listen, I'm legitimately ill. I'm not going to be ready. She's even expressed concern that she'll even be ready by Wednesday.
Okay.
So.
Got it. All right. Thank you so much, Hector. We appreciate your time and analysis. We may see you back here again Wednesday. 12 Plus will stream daily gavel-to-gavel coverage of the trial, so make sure you download 12 Plus on your TV right now to watch for free. We'll also be streaming a nightly recap show at 8:30. Again, that is exclusively on 12 Plus.